Hi everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I hope you're all doing well and staying happy and healthy. This is part 2 for our videos this week. We are talking about complex and compound complex sentences. So we're going to be starting with complex sentences. Sorry, my bad. There we go. Complex sentences. A complex sentence is an independent clause joined by one or more dependent clauses. So we learned about independent and dependent clauses earlier in our class. A subordinating conjunction begins the dependent clauses, and a dependent clause that begins a sentence must be followed by a comma. A dependent clause has a subject and a verb, but it does not make sense on its own. So these are all things that we talked about earlier, and now we're going to be combining them. We're going to combine them using subordinating conjunctions, and here are just some really popular ones that are often used, and these are the ones that we're going to be sticking with for our test and for our activities, just to try and keep it simple. However, there are many more than just these out there in the real world, so please keep that in mind. I'm not going to read them off to you. I'm just trying to give you some time to read them on your own. And for our examples, the orange text is going to be our subject and noun. The green text is going to be predicates and verbs, and dependent clause is red. And so those are subordinate conjunctions. So here are our samples. So just like before, after he gave it some thought, the mouse decided to wait until later for his trek. So the mouse is our subject. We can see that he's being referred to with he here. And this statement that's in red could not stand on its own, so it's dependent upon the rest of this sentence. And the green is our predicate. The next sentence, the cat fell asleep in the warm kitchen because he was deprived of sleep the night before. So the cat is our subject, fell asleep in the warm kitchen is our predicate, and because he was deprived of sleep the night before is dependent, so that makes it a complex sentence. When the mouse heard the soft snoring of his sleeping nemesis, he scurried to the pantry and grabbed enough food for a week. And then lastly, the dedicated feline sleuth keeps his nightly vigil even though the foresighted mouse will not be venturing out this week. So these are examples of complex sentences. So now you are going to test yourself. Is this a complex sentence? So it's going to be a 50-50 shot as far as our questions in Edpuzzle that I am asking you, is it a complex sentence or is it not a complex sentence? So number 1, the teacher walked into the classroom while the class waited in the hallway. Number 2, Juan played football, but Juan's brother played basketball. Number 3, while Jane went shopping, her mother waited in the car. Number 4, Mexico has a better team, but the U.S. team has a better goalie. Number 5, the island was filled with many trails winding through the thick underbrush. And number 6, he studied hard and therefore got an A on the test. And then lastly, we are going to be talking about compound complex sentences. So this is really wrapping everything that we've learned together. A compound complex sentence is a sentence that has at least 2 independent clauses and at least 1 dependent clause. So we're looking at the same subordinate conjunctions that are going to be used to introduce the dependent clause. So just like the slide that I showed before that has a very long list of a variety of different subordinating conjunctions, we're going to stick with those that were provided. And then the same coordinating conjunctions, fanboys, are used for joining independent clauses. So fanboys, once again, stands for and nor, but, or, yet, so. So in our examples, orange will be the subject, green will be the predicate, dependent clauses will be in red, and coordinating conjunctions or fanboys will be in white. So our examples, of compound complex sentences. The first one, after the two adversaries had spent years playing this cat and mouse game, they were joined by their children and the fun continued. Even though it seems the two were bent on the other's destruction, the cat and mouse were rather fond of one another, and neither wanted the other's defeat. So in both of these examples, we have our subjects in orange, our predicates in green, our dependent clause in red, and then our coordinating conjunction in white. This game was begun thousands of years ago, and it will continue far into the future as the other cats and mice revel in hide and seek. A cute end to our sentence sample story. Alrighty, so now you're going to test yourself, and this is going to be the more complicated step, where I'm not just asking you to tell me is it or is it not the example, but I'm going to ask you, is it simple, compound, complex, or compound complex? So these are our different sentences. The teacher walked into the classroom, greeted the students, and took attendance. That's number 1. Number 2, Juan played football while Jane went shopping. Number 3, Juan played football, yet Jim went shopping. Number 4, although Mexico has a better team, they lost the tournament. Number 5, the island was filled with many trails winding through the thick underbrush, a small lake, and dangerous wild animals. And number 6, Nina passed the test because she studied hard, but Stacy did not understand the material. And those are all of our samples. So once again, you will have a test on this. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and we will review this using Quizlet, using quizzes, and using IXL. Alrighty guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.